Good day. Hi, Ebi. Hi, everybody, LinkedIn and YouTube members too. Welcome. This is Peace and Wealth, and we're here every weekend, and we alternate between Ebi and me and Marleen Greenleaf and me. So today we're going to talk much more about the work we're doing in corporate sectors and company sectors with leaders and teams and so on, using Lodestone. And you can see up in the right corner there the trademark of Lodestone. In a moment, we'll tell you more about that. But just to introduce today, this week we've been focusing on embodied leadership in digital spaces. And so really the question is simply not how do I show up online, but what state am I showing up in or up from? So we're very concerned with the state behind the leader, behind the guide, whatever situation it is. Because digital spaces may look flat and fast and external, but they can still carry the human nervous system, the human body, the human voice, and the human field. So digital visibility is not just a marketing issue. It's really a strategic problem. What should I post? How often? What's the hook? What's the offer? How do I get attention? So we see people all the time online doing this kind of stuff. Where is it coming from? That's our question, because leadership really begins with the self, not some polished model or technique or strategy. The best way to be a leader, especially online, is to be yourself. Do you agree, Ebi? Is that a good place to start?
Yes, definitely agree. Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Lyndon, for another opportunity to have this conversation. First of all, I wanted to say something. You said it's a problem. It's a challenge, not a problem, I think. It's a challenge, an opportunity for growth. But it's a complete mindset change, thinking about the self. And I just find a lot of people are not recognizing that. It's always we automatically go to the external to look for the answers, which is natural for us because through decades we've been taught to go for the external. So rather than seeing it as something that we need to work on within, to reconnecting to ourselves, it is if I give an example, because sometimes it's difficult for me to explain. If I give an example, so I went to this class today in Hailing. I don't know if you know where Hailing is. Beautiful place, but it was raining all day, so couldn't go by the sea. It's by the sea. So I was and she was talking. There's a program this lady set, and she was talking about working from within and healing ourselves and working on our negative side and both our positive sides, and we need to work on our negative sides to be able to know our true selves. And came out of the conversation, and one of my friends was saying, but we have to go in and recognize what the other people are doing, whether they're getting it wrong or getting it right. So we immediately go on that, what are other people doing? I'm trying to say the point about it is, what other people are doing is none of your business. Okay, they might be doing things wrong, but it is really none of your business. So your business is you going within and connecting with yourself. And as you do that, you will begin to recognize where the misalignment is in in the environment that you're in. And because your energy is changing, because you're recognizing who you are, you got that connection with who you really are. The negative people will either fall out from your space, or things will change because you've shifted. They will begin to shift, and so they will. Yeah, because people mirror people too. So sometimes when people are acting towards us, it's probably the way we're they're acting towards us without the rapport thing, that going on. I mean, you've done that, so you kind of understand that. But sometimes we act in certain ways, and because of the way we're acting, they're responding to that, and it's all coming from the unlimited mind. So people don't realize this is what's going on, but this is what's going on. So as you're changing, they change too. So their response to you changes, or they fall away. And it's difficult. It's so difficult to get that concept. And I hope people on here, with all the conversations you've been having, especially Lyndon, because you do a lot of stuff with this, I hope they're beginning to pick it up because they're embodied. So I asked her, I said, what do you understand by being embodied? And I was really surprised because she gets a lot of downloads. That's the she got what embodied it, and it's about the self, really understand what's going on with self. And that's both your negative and your positive sides, because we all have. You might think that you're a great person and you don't have any positives, but if you're human, you don't have any negatives. If you're human, you do have negatives. You just might not know what they are. So
I think this is really valid and interesting. First of all, if we are looking after ourselves, and why wouldn't we? This is what really gets me. Why would we outsource our precious selves to someone else, or an educator, a healthcare person, whatever? Why don't we look after ourselves? This is really such an interesting question, I think. And why don't we realize that if we want to contribute to the global community, the best way to do that is to be ourselves? And then the people who are interested in what you're doing or feel affinity with you will flock to you and be attracted to your projections, your personality, your mission, maybe, if you want to call it that. So, I can't understand why people prefer to have this kind of professional veneer that they put out live and in posts and so on.
I don't think they prefer. It's just a lack of awareness of self.
Maybe,
Just because it's like a boiling frog kind of thing. So we've been in that situation for decades, and so it's become normal, and so you don't really realize, unless you really. It has to be conscious. You always have to be intentional and conscious of what's going on. Because even people who think, like one of the ladies said to me, "Well, I'm a very spiritual person," and I said, "From what you're saying, you're in your head. You're talking from your head all the time."
Good.
Oh, so I use both. She said back to me, "I use both," and I'm thinking, no, you should be using that. That's there to kind of help you. But I didn't want to get into that because she was getting very defensive, so I just kind of dropped it. But
I mean, it's really interesting that people are so unaware. Yes, they are so unaware. But I think there are also people who are so scared.
Yes, that's part of it.
Of their kind of inferior selves. They've got this terrible inferiority complex. I'm discovering that all around me. And they don't feel they're good enough to put out there. They don't feel they're attractive enough or interesting enough. So they wear a mask and use a persona, of some kind, or a professional image or something like that. And I think that's a real shame that people don't value themselves. I call
that the polished mask. In
Yes.
my book, I call that the polished mask. You're right. People were, so a lot of times we're performing because
Yeah.
and is that we're looking for that validation from somebody
Mm.
else. We're looking for
Mm.
we're looking a lot for the validation. We're looking to please people. We're looking to be accepted. So like
Yeah.
you said, we're not feeling accepted in ourselves. We don't really have that self-trust, which we've talked about in
Mm.
ourselves. And that is down to self-worth, knowing who
Yes.
you are,
Yes.
and accepting yourself for who you are. Because the thing is that once you know who you are, it's not that you're compromising and saying, "Oh, well, I'm ugly, so I have to accept myself. Oh, I'm ugly." No, you see yourself as beautiful because you know you can
Yeah.
see the beauty in you.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah,
And that's what we do, really, isn't it? I mean, Lodestone is all about getting you to reconnect with who you really are, and who you really are is beautiful, is good. Of course,
unique.
as you mentioned before, yes, of course, that we have our negative moments, but in my experience, those negative aspects that we see in ourselves come from this limited mind,
Mhm.
which is constantly self-critical, constantly
And why
evaluating.
is it negative? Why is
Yeah,
it negative? So negative because, like you said, you see it in your head because
yeah, it's
a
just
weakness, you might have some things that you're not very strong at, but
yeah,
that's a strength. It a weakness is not really a weakness. I think that is confusing because we put labels on things, which is
mm,
you have those things because maybe that's an opportunity for you to grow in some certain areas of your life. So you
yeah,
have those things, but those things are also strength, even though you might see them from here as a weakness,
absolutely,
but
that's
they're there
right.
to balance you out. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So that's what I mean. The critical self
Mm,
is anathema to many people. You know,
mm,
they're so hard on themselves. I was talking
yeah.
to someone yesterday who I've not spoken to for a while over in Kentucky. I'm sort of member of a group over there, and haven't talked to her for ages. And she's been really sick, and she was saying, "Oh, I've had this heart problem, and I've had this." She's mid-60s, and I said, well, you know, why is all this happening, do you think? And she is a healer. She is a code breaker. So she works with something called lucid sequence, which is a way of changing patterns. Um, so I said, well, why can't we change those patterns? She said, well, you know, I've got to live through all these weaknesses. So I
Yeah,
said,
again, language.
you do? So I said, why do you think they're weaknesses?
Mm,
And then I told her about my knee, and I don't think I've told you about my knee. I've had terrible problem with my left knee for the last couple of months. Now,
mhm.
I never have this kind of thing, but I've had really bad problems, and there's a little bit of arthritis in my left knee. So I've been hobbling around and having this aching knee all the time, really. So at one point, I was surprised that having this pain, because I don't really know pain, really.
Mhm.
Not really had pain in my life. And then I suddenly stopped and I said, wow, this is my chance. This is my
Mm,
chance to experience pain. And
mm.
I kind of stood outside it and witnessed this.
You
And
became the observer.
it's been, yeah, it's been such an incredible insight into
Mm,
how to manage it. And because of Lodestone, because of my inner work, I've been able to manage it really well.
mm.
But it's taught me so much about me,
Yeah,
my pain, and what some people are doing when they discover they're sick or they have an emergency or something like that, is they outsource it
yeah.
and they defer
I think
to,
that's where we've got to at this stage in our evolution is that, and I'm happy because people like you and this are bringing people back to bringing back people to self because we are outsourcing everything, and where those people can help you maybe get a direction, the decision should always be yours. You should never be outsourcing anything to do with you to anybody, no
Yeah.
matter their expertise, because you're the expert of
Yes.
yourself.
That's a great commendation. And I said this to my friend, and she said, "Oh, yes, I'm so glad to hear that. You're right."
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the conversation, she was
Mm-hmm.
taking back control from all these medics around her,
Mm-hmm.
giving her potions and pills and tests. And I said, just pull back because you are the authority on you. Oh, Lyndon, I'm so glad you told me that. I've forgotten. So,
Because
yeah,
that mindset change helps with the stuff. And sometimes, like you said, you might have a pain, but it might be something that's highlighting you to that pain. So you pay more attention to what's going on inside. And as you pay more attention, it's not to say they don't help and those people are not helpful. They are, but giving all the authority to them is where there's an issue, isn't it?
That's
You shouldn't be giving all
right.
the authority. It's like they're like a guides kind. Yeah, because the universe sends us people and gives us things that help us to guide,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
it's still yeah, your
Absolutely.
decision.
And that's the magic of being human, you know. Again, I go back to the Aboriginals. Sorry, I'm
Mm-hmm.
always talking about them, but
It's great. Don't
they
apologize.
they they are they've chosen to stay with the earth rather than selling out and outsourcing the way we
This
have.
have sold out.
Yeah, well, some of us have. But when you talk to them, when I talk to them, I was so struck by how self-reliant and self-resourceful each one of them is. Um, they work together as a tribe, um,
Mm-hmm.
group working with the earth, but essentially they are individual beings who have taken total responsibility for themselves. And that portrayed to me the best kind of intelligence. For me, it was the perfect intelligence, whole body intelligence, not just intellectual fireworks and momentary aha moments, light bulb
Mm-hmm.
moments, all this stuff that we've so romanticized, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
these tribal peoples just standing tall in their kind of naked presence was so moving and so for me shifting. It shifted me so much because I could see the whole human potential, the whole human intelligence. And it was then, a long time ago now, 30 years ago, that I really started to realize how much we outsource, how much we are bamboozled by this mind, which is so cunning often and so clever. And
Yeah.
the Aboriginals just really use this. So I found it quite often that I was bringing in a concept when I was talking to them, and they would point that out, and they'd say, would this thing," and they couldn't get this idea of a kind of concept that we take for granted now. And it's the same in Japan. It's really interesting. Concepts don't go down very well here at all. You can talk till you're blue in the face from here, but people are not listening from there. They're listening from the heart. They're in their hearts, and they again have a certain kind of intelligence that I really admire. So yeah, I think the more we realize that our human entity is not just the firework display of the mind, and all its brilliance, I totally agree, it's brilliant, but that's not it. That's not the whole thing at all. And
That's the human side. Like they said, we are having a human experience. So this is just an experience we're having, but
yeah,
a lot of people seem to have forgotten the other bits that.
Yeah.
So we're passing through. It's kind of like we're passing through, and once we're passing through, we are having this human experience, which is where the limited mind comes in. But the unlimited mind is like Einstein said, energy, which is what we are, can neither be created nor destroyed. So we have always been, and we will always be. So what was there before? What is that? And that's we need to reconnect, with the experiences that we've had.
Yeah.
And I guess that's probably not so easy, because what we see out in the media and what we see out about is talking about this side, but you've still got the other side, which does affect us. It even affects our health, it affects our trauma, it affects so many things. So having that connection so that we're embodied and we can feel what's going on in the body. We know what's happening in our nervous system if we pay attention.
Yes.
Maybe we can avoid a lot of mishaps that we experience along the way. Be the observer a lot of times, Sometimes we need to just be the observer and let things pass rather than focus on those things.
Yes. I mean, yes, that's right. If you ask a tribal person why they're here, first of all, they will say, well, I've always been here and I always will be here. So they recognize with their whole body intelligence, without the intellect, without the visual firework display, that they are energy and they are indestructible. They take on a human form. Why? If you ask an indigenous person why they are in human form, they will say, because I've got to learn my lessons from.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah,
that's
brilliant.
So they are there. That the only purpose, they become flesh, and we can see this very loosely described by various religions. The idea of becoming flesh, the invisible becoming visible. That's a very Christian idea, and we have it in Buddhism too, because of reincarnation. So Buddhists believe that we're only here briefly, and we'll come back next time in another form. So we acknowledge that there are so many levels of spiritual learning, if you like. And the human one is the most difficult of all.
I can see.
It's very difficult to be born human. If we think about the process of birth.
Experience, It's quite traumatic in itself for a baby. For the mother, but for the baby too.
Yes, fighting through the birth canal, to become this bag of flesh, which carries the imprints of DNA and ancestry and grows and, goes in various directions. But the greatest thing about being human is the opportunity to learn. And we have to learn about ourselves first.
Then you understand, then you start to understand other people, because if you have compassion for yourself, you're able to even give compassion. If you're not able to give compassion to others, I would question how much compassion do you give to yourself? Because if you're compassionate to yourself, it's very easy to give compassion to somebody else. And I think a lot of times when we come from a place of judgment, we come from a place of harshness. It's because people hurt. We're hurt. And it might be so deep that we're not recognizing it with this mind. And it's about going.
And I think the friend I was talking about earlier who had been so sick, eventually I ended up saying, look, you're the only person who can change these weaknesses, as you're calling them, and
opportunities for growth.
And I kind of talked her into. She's so lovely and insightful. I kind of talked her into stepping away. So we did a little witness exercise, and by the end of the session, she was feeling so different about it all. But you see, in that case, that's interesting because she is an incredible leader of many other women. She works with women primarily, well, mostly. And she, you know, when you see her in a session, she's giving out so much to
Yeah.
all her various network people who she knows so well and supports so well. So eventually what's happened is she's given up on herself. She's kind of
She's not receiving, is she? She's giving, but
not
is she
receiving.
receiving?
That's the point. Yes,
It's a two-way
absolutely.
thing, isn't it? You have
And
to receive.
yes, for a leader, and you know, I would say, in my estimation, she is a true leader. She gives all her energy to others, and too much of it. You know, she does that too often. But I would say for any person leading, and we've been talking about this week, haven't we? Embodied leadership. If you're in a leadership position, this is the ultimate opportunity for you to look after yourself first. And as Ebi, you just said, you know, self-compassion is not abandoning yourself, even when you're in pain. So take my knee. I didn't say, oh, you know, that's the end. I'll never walk again. I'll, you know, all this kind of dramatic stuff.
Bring out the violins.
Get the violins.
Pity.
I didn't do that. I just laughed at myself, really, and was able to because I momentarily got drawn into this pain because I'm so unused to it.
Of course.
And I thought, oh, you know, and then I caught myself, luckily, with all my training and spiritual insights, caught myself, pulled away, and I laughed at myself. And I said, well, you know, we can tune this pain. We can turn it down. We can, we can soothe it, you know, and I've managed it perfectly well. And I've learned so much from it, so much.
We always learn, don't we?
Yes. And this friend who had not been self-compassionate for a while ended up saying, Lyndon, I'm so glad I talked to you because, yes, I have abandoned myself and I've got to get back to myself, she said.
So I think this is what Lordstone teaches people, isn't it? Because I think for decades, this has been going on. So people are so used to abandoning themselves, but Lordstone kind of like pulls you back. So that I think like the first question if something's going on the external, and first of all, find answers from within. What's happening within? I think through the practices of Lordstone, it helps you to like get back to focus. Obviously, at first, because you have to. That's why you do it for 30 days, isn't it? So it becomes a habit and becomes a part of you. So that you're able, like you said, when you were going through the pain, you got frantic, and then you have to pull yourself back because that's what we have to do when something is happening like that. It's like we can feel sorry for ourselves. Oh, I don't have this pain, but don't sit in it. You know, pull yourself back and then go within and start working that way, and then you start to find the solutions. What you need to do. If you need to seek advice from a white coat, that's fine. Seek the advice. You know, but you're still in control of what's going on. Don't outsource. You always. I think
that's the key phrase, Ebi, to be in control. Yeah, if we outsource control, which we do all the time, you know, in modern societies, then you're going to, of course, you're going to lose touch with yourself. You're going to stop trusting yourself. You're going to blame yourself, and that's what people do when they're in extreme pain.
Blaming self is very negative.
They blame themselves, that they are angry with themselves for being weak. How crazy is that, you know, when you think about it objectively? We have to cherish ourselves. We have to embrace ourselves. And the more attention we give to ourselves, not in a selfish way, but in a very compassionate way, then the more protection.
When you're embodied, and I think Lordstone teaches all that anyway, but when you're embodied, you don't have the egos. The egos are there, but we keep our egos in check. When you're embodied, you're not in this, like you said, not in a selfish way, because being is more external. What are people thinking of me? Am I going to look good in front of people? That's all the ego coming in. But with embodiment, it's not. It's like really true. So you're looking after yourself because you know that if you look after yourself, then you'll be able to help other people, which is one of our purposes on earth, is to serve others in different ways. But we can't do that with that. And some of us try to do that, but what happens is that if you're not embodied, you end up with burnout, anxiety, depression. All those levels start coming because it's so overwhelming. So being grounded is so important.
Absolutely. If you look at society, developed society, it's a mess, really, isn't it? We've got, you know, so many fatal diseases. We've got, 60% of humans die of some kind of inflammation, that kind of disease. If you take control and start to work on your unlimited mind and open your heart up to yourself, then you start really to balance, and dis-ease, as we call it, ebbs away. It just disappears. Pain just disappears if you are really caring for yourself. And everything becomes,
because it's not just physical, is it? Because I think the big one now that's happening in the West is the mental issues, and I think it's Mental Health Month, actually. I can't remember. Yeah. So the mental health is deteriorating in the West, because we're so disconnected. We're busy. There's so much busyness, So we're busy, stressed. So why is that? Chase, like there's a comment you made to me. It's chasing outcome, chasing money, success, visibility, proof, completion. So we're just chasing things all the time rather than pulling back. Because if we pull back and first of all, wealth is not, it's nice to have the money, but if that's what you really truly want, when you pull back, and people who have a lot of money, they've said that when they pull back and they're with themselves, they're able to, these things come because things just start working for you because things are clearer for you.
Yeah. And really, it makes sense, doesn't it, that we are not just ideas and concepts and vocabulary. We're not just that, are we? We're flesh and blood. We've got, a throbbing heart. We've got pumping blood. It's so physical, really. I can't imagine why people just abandon it. Which people tend to do, and especially people in a leadership position, because if you're responsible for other people, then you owe it to them to show them who you really are.
True.
Through everything you do, not just the words you say, but your presence, your
presence. I said that's presence. Be present.
Yeah. I mean, why? How can people possibly respect you if you're not present? If you're not there? If they can see that you are not who you are, really, you're portraying something different. And humans pick up signals, as we've said many times. Constantly, the body is constantly transmitting signals, non-verbal signals, and we're receiving those signals. So, you can't bamboozle your team. They will see through your polished professional self. They'll see through that and they'll want something more of you as a leader. So I think this is really important, and especially online. I think we've got to realize that we may all end up back online one day if we have another pandemic of some kind. It may be our only refuge, as it was back in the day. And we have to therefore cultivate this real presence, real authenticity online.
Authenticity, I love that word.
People say, "Oh no, I can't do live sessions." And
actually, I mean, this is live, but if I had to do like some people do the walk and talk and all that sort of thing, and I think being able to do those things, do it live and just talk at the top of my head,
it's so nice, isn't it, to just explore these things together with no script. We never have a script, and we can just really show who we are through what we're saying to each other from the heart. It's wonderful. Wonderful way of communicating, I think. Well, my dear, we're out of time, believe it or not. Do you want to leave everyone with a parting message?
Yeah, like we always say, be the observer. Things come into our heads, the limited mind, and we can just observe the thoughts, let them pass, focus on what we want to go within. If you're living from presence rather than performing, you can't go wrong. The energy shifts around you. People will be more positive, and the negative ones will probably dissipate away, slowly go and dissolve.
Yeah.
It all begins with you. We're here for us. And I think we always look on criticizing other people as opposed to doing our own work. It's not your business what other people are doing. It's not your business what mistakes they're making in your eyes, the mistakes they're making. Nothing to do with you. And as you have more compassion for yourself, you will have more compassion for the people you think are making mistakes.
Yes, absolutely. And as you say, the way you project yourself will either attract people or deflect people. And the people
Which
you
is
attract,
all good.
if you're being authentic, those are your tribe. That's your tribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the ones who fall by the wayside. They're not ready for you.
Yeah.
Because you're so authentic. And I think that's really important. Great. That's a great final message. And so your inner peace and your inner wealth are all waiting for you. They're all there inside you. It's all there in the blueprint. Remember, we have DNA, and all of these things are contained in DNA. So just get in touch with yourself, really deeply in touch. Use Lodestone to help you to do that. You can come and work with me on a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday in mindful moments. I do a 30-minute reset then, and you get a taste of this work. And then you can stand tall in front of a camera with a microphone, and you can be yourself and enjoy it, and others enjoy it too. Yeah, so it's the best possible way forward for us all to be embodied. Okay, that's a great note to end on, Ebi, and I'll see you later in the week. We've got Your Body is Your Business Plan coming up on Wednesday again, and we're going to talk about I always forget the name of this. Just a second, I'll just refresh. Oh, yes, aligning purpose with profit. Do you remember?
Oh, wow.
We did that last cycle. Aligning purpose with profit. So here we get an opportunity to talk about embodiment and making money,
Aligning purpose with profit. Great one. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So we look forward to seeing you then. If you'd like to know more about any of this, any of our work, Lodestone Inside works with corporate bodies and so on. Lodestone itself is a wonderful product you can buy, which will totally resort your relationship with yourself, reconnect you. And yes, we've got lots of things to help you to do this. Wonderful. So, Ebi, have a great, where are you? Oh, sleep. You're going to bed now, aren't you? Yes.
Yes, it's midnight.
Well, it's 8 a.m. for me, so I'm going to jump up now and go for a walk. So wonderful. Thanks for showing up, and I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you to all our viewers too. No comments today yet, but we'll be back again next weekend with Marleen Greenleaf. Okay. Thanks so much, Ebi. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.